Okay, then I'd like to explain the first step. The first step of today is to installing Visual Studio Code. So you can download it from the download page, and either one will be okay. User installer, a system installer will be okay. The only difference is that the user installer will install the Visual Studio Code for the current user only, but the system installer will install it to everyone else. So for everyone else. So I just downloaded the user installer and attached it to your lecture board in the supplementary section for to reduce the congestion to the server. So once you can download it from the original download page, it will be okay. But if you cannot, just download it from the supplementary board, and then once you download it from the supplementary board, the file name will end with -x. Okay, so can you see that .exe, the -x? So it is for preventing for malicious code to be infected from the malicious code. So you can just click Shift and right click of your mouse. Then you can open the command prompt or PowerShell. So from that, you can check the dir. So you can rename using rename len command. So VS Code. So just remove -x here. Okay. Then you can safely see that executable file here. So you can execute it. Installer. Okay. So from this page, just agree. Just check you agree, then press next, press next, press next, and just add a path. And if you prefer, you may click the icon in your desktop. So it is currently installed. So you may think that Visual Studio Code is just like an editor. So if you invoke it, you can edit program source and it will be executed. And there's console screen is embedded in the Visual Studio Code. So it can be helpful for you to enter input in the same window. So I'd like to introduce it because it is more convenient than the normal idle. Okay. So once it is installed, then you can execute it directly. Or if you prefer, you may add, no, not this time, sorry. Start Visual Studio Code. So those who cannot start the Visual Studio Code, cannot install the Visual Studio Code now, don't worry about that because you can still use the normal idle. Okay. So you have to install the support for Python. So just click Tools and Language, just click Python. Okay. So you need another installation. The window will reload after installing additional support. Okay. So it is like an add-on software. So additional support for Python is currently being installed. And once it is installed, it will be automatically reloaded. Okay. So this second message is for that if you want to improve the Visual Studio Code by sending anonymous data to their server, so you may select it OK or just close it. So I'm not sure this is automatically started, but while it is being installed, I'd like to fix it in the taskbar. Okay, so just right click and you can fix it to the taskbar. So let's restart this, the Visual Studio Code, since you have installed the Visual Studio Code and add-on of your Python support. 2 more students, welcome. So your TA is currently checking your attendance, so please write down your student ID and your name as a participant. Okay, so I'd like to, so is this installed? So just make a new file. Okay, then what is today's problem is that you just visit the newest PAM. So I already opened the newest PAM today. And the problem can be found from the assignment 3. The assignment 3 is the cumulative graph. So the cumulative graph, I just downloaded the PDF file. So you in programming, you can use nested loops, which means that you can embed a loop into another loop. Okay, so here is an example. So here is a for loop, which is the outermost, from the 6th line to the 10th line, it consists of a single for loop. Okay, but from the 8th line to the 9th line, there's another for loop which is embedded on the bigger loop. Okay, so this is a for loop. So let's test this code in your Visual Studio Code. Okay, so let's just type it, symbols, starting, star, at, exclamation mark, at, and sharp. And there are some more symbols, but I'd like just enter 3 ones. So at this point, you may safely save this, save as, because for the syntax highlighting, okay? So you may safely save it to your Python code. So you may select .py. Let's just add .py. So loops.py. So it is highlighted. Okay. So you'd like to make a list of same list from symbols the split. Okay. And let's take a look of the same list by just print same list. Okay. Then you can save this, and you may run it from start debugging or run without debugging. Okay. And you can take a look. Terminal. So it seems the Python extension is not properly installed. So let's try this in normal idle. Okay, so you know the location. Users, Ugun, document, Python code, and loops.py. So let's go to that location. So users, again, Python code, okay, loops.py. So just right click and edit with idle. Be patient. Okay. So as you know, this is the code, okay? So when you execute it with F5, know that 3 characters should be separated, okay? Should be separated with the split command, split method, okay? So let's start to print all of them from the symbol list, okay? So you may select for loop every symbol in sim list. You can print it, okay? Print symbol. Save this and running this, 3 symbols will be printed in separate lines, okay? So, but you may do a loop. So how can I do a loop? You just like to print integer, which can be a returned value of odd, which will return ordinal number of a symbol. Okay, so let's print it with your symbol. So the odd of your symbol will be plus or will be n, okay? So executing it, every symbol will be printed and the ordinal numbers will be printed also, okay? Can you see this? I'd like to just shift a little bit the Python shell or just reduce it here and I can enlarge it, okay? Can you see the ordinal numbers are printed, okay? And you don't like to print every character with a loop, okay? So instead of printing the symbol, you don't like to print for every I in range of n, you like to print the symbol with end, empty end, okay? And then you'd like to print an empty line, okay? So executing it, so 33 exclamation mark and 64 at sign and 35 pound sign, okay? So you can do it, you can simply do it with another way, such as, so you know that you can do that with a function repeat of a character n times. Okay, you can do that. Print character. Okay, so the for loop here will be moved inside of the function. Okay, so for I in range, you'd like to print a character. Okay, and instead of the nested loop, you'd like to call repeat symbol with n times. Okay, using a function. And executing it, the result is same as before. Okay, and as you know, you can use a black box rule, which means that you can do the similar thing not with this code, so you can safely comment these out using format comment of reason. Okay, and then print c times n. Okay, so this is a black box rule. You didn't change the interface, but you can safely change the behavior inside of, change the code without changing the behavior. Okay, so you know that the output should be same as before. Okay, it is same as before. Okay, so you define the repeat function, so why not defining a main function for this? Define main. Okay, so all the codes here can be defined as main, then you should indent them. So how can I indent them? In a format menu, indent reason. Okay, and then instead of typing all the details, you can type safely main here. So this is a function call, single function call for main. And your main is also calling another function repeat. Okay, save this and running this, and the result should be same. Okay, good. Okay, so let's go back to today's problem. Today's problem is that graph, similar as before, but in this case, it is a cumulative graph of a single symbol. So you want to write a program, print the cumulative graph using the given character. The character takes the role of a pattern of the graph. So in this case, your input line is containing a pattern, character pound as a pattern, and 3 to 9 is the subsequent numbers to print it, a graph. But you can find that there's 8 characters, 8 pound symbols in the first line, but not the 2 pound characters. Instead, 10 pound characters. Why? So since this is a cumulative graph, so you add 8 to 8 and 2, which makes 10. So 10 pound symbols. Okay, and the third one will be printed 19 rather than 9 pound symbols. Okay, so your program should print the following. This is much like the infected persons, number of infected persons in our city. So you can count them daily, but the number of infected persons can be cumulative. Okay. Note that the number of characters of the upper lines are non-decreasing since the graph is cumulative. The input consists of a single line containing the character, the pattern of the graph, and the sequence of non-negative integers separated by a space. So your program should print the cumulative graph of the sequence using the pattern, the first character. So additional requirements. Define and use a meaningful function to print a single line. So you can use a function to print a single line here. So make a function named main containing your driver code. Okay, just like the example above. So you just added all the driver code inside of this main function. Okay, and main function is called. So your input is #829. This is as before. So your output seems like this. So if you use the pattern -1910, 0 can be, then 1 is printed, and 10 minus will be printed, and 11 minus will be printed. With 0, 11 minus will be printed. Okay? So if you have any question, please use your chatting. So there's one question in the graph. There's no such input. Okay, so all the numbers other than the first character. So the first character minus is not the -1. So yeah, you don't have to consider the negative input. So it is just a pattern. So 1, 2, 3. If you input, if the input is as a verb, then your output should be 1, 2, 3 in cumulative. So you should print 1 star in the first line and 3 stars in the second line and 6 stars in the third line. So the star is not the multiplication, it is a pattern. So in the last example, minus is not showing that the first number is -1, it is just pattern minus. Okay? Any other questions? No, there's no input such as 1, 3, -2. Okay, since -2 is negative. It is forbidden. So from the problem description, you know that input consists of a single line containing the character and sequence of non-negative. Can you see the sequence of sequence of non-negative integers? Okay, non-negative integers. Any other questions? Not really, but positive numbers including 0. As you know, the 0 is not positive. So the input in what type of variable should be memorized? What type of variable? So you know that you have to convert the input for other characters as an integer, okay? But except the first character type should be a string. So you have to handle them, okay? have to convert them into an integer type except the first character, which is a pattern of the graph. Delania, are you okay for this? Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so it seems there's no questions. So you may, if it is all okay, just a reminder that you should submit the assignment until 13 tomorrow, okay? So the due of the submission is 13 tomorrow, which is 1 p.m. tomorrow. Okay? Is it good, all of you? So I just abandoned 12 p.m. So it is quite ambiguous for some students. So I just extended 1 hour to remove the ambiguity, okay? Is this good? Good. Yes, okay. So for inserting the Visual Studio Code, I may record it for the second time. I'll try them if it is possible, and it may be available to as additional video. Okay. So if you don't have any question anymore, so this is the end, and only this semester maybe it's already an hour past. Okay, so you may safely go out from this lecture room. Okay. Okay, so see you next time.